Good evening. I've not spoken to you really for quite some time now, and that's mostly because not very much has changed, and most of the things that have been put in place by the council and most of the things that are happening in our community have kind of been in a holding position as we've been carrying on through the crisis that we're in. But I really wanted to get a chance to speak to you and really to engage with you, to tell you that there's so much in the press at the moment about geographical variations, and you'll have heard all the comments about islands doing things differently. And I just thought it's really important as we see the lockdown across the globe, across our nation, all of these things changing. I just would like to tell you what we're doing in that space and how we are representing you further away, and the engagements that we as the council are making into these things. There was talk from the First Minister a couple of days ago that said that there could be a geographical approach to this, and we know of all the things that are happening with apps and trials that we have of apps to see how the app works on the Isle of Wight and things. So I just wanted to make you aware just of what we've been doing and some of the engagement that we've had, which is, really important, because we are very concerned that decisions are made and placed upon us that we have no influence over, and that we end up with the wrong result. So the feedback we've had from people at the moment is there's still a great deal of concern about the COVID virus in our community. And at the same time, we know that things will not stay the same forever. And we really want to be able to manage the process of opening up our economy and getting back into a new way of working beyond where we are, because we think that's absolutely important. So over the last few weeks, I've been having a lot of engagement with people in the Faroes, politicians and people who run labs, and also David Stewart, who's the leader of the Isle of Wight Council, is someone I've met on my travels, and I've had significant conversations back and forth, because sometimes we need to go beyond what's on the media and actually ask the relevant questions. And some of these things have been things we've been able to do. The people that we found the most difficult to actually get a proper dialogue with up till yesterday was the Scottish Government. I have written on many occasions, and in the end, last night or the night before last, I got a chance to get a response, and had a meeting last night with Paul Wheelhouse, who is the Islands Minister, and Jason Leach from Public Health Scotland, or from the health side of what's going on in the particular time. And just we needed to clear up so that we now have an opportunity to work with the Scottish Government and really forge a way forward for our islands to keep people as safe as we possibly can, while at the same time look at timings and programs and the things that we might do so that Orkney can start to function in the best way for the weeks and the days and weeks and months ahead, because now we're all beginning to realise this is a much longer haul than we thought at first. The other thing that I've been very busy on recently is engaging with the UK government. Had a meeting today with the Under-Secretary of State for Scotland, Douglas Ross, about all the places where grant funding's not helping and not touching some of the areas that we think are really important, and finding out how these funds translate from what's happening in England into Scotland, and particularly into Orkney. And so that has been beneficial and also challenging on the whole new digital necessity that we have to make sure that we get up to speed on a kind of universal obligation to make sure that we can all be connected, and the islands can function without being set behind the rest of the country. So as far as islands are doing something different, it's really good to know that we now have an access into the government to discuss everything that they might want to do and everything that we might be able to encourage them into, which will be the right things to take our community out of lockdown in a different pace, sometimes slower, sometimes faster than what's going on elsewhere, but really engaging in a way, because we want Orkney to be able to bounce back faster than anywhere else. But we also are so aware that we must make sure that the money that we all have in our pockets circulates around this economy to secure that we end up keeping as much of these of the absolutely essential businesses and services and trades and everything else that goes on here going. So I just wanted to keep you up to speed with some of these things that are going on, and just so that people know that we are trying to lead out of this. We're trying not to have to react, but we're trying to engage, because there's so many interesting things going across the world, and so often islands across the world have far more synergy with us than we do with a big conurbation like Glasgow or Manchester or whatever. So it's really good for us to sense check all that they're doing to make sure that we are actually, we are not here to try and take our community to be guinea pigs or a testing place, but we are here to do the right things as early as we possibly can, so that we get a chance for us to create our society again, so we can socialize it, and it will be a slow progress, but we want to not be behind the curve on any of these things. We want to make sure that we can educate and get children back as quickly as is safe, so that we can move in that kind of direction too. So there are many aspects, and I just wanted you, the public, to know we're working very hard behind the scenes, and sometimes hard to tell people too much until we make an announcement, but I wanted you to know what's going on. So keep in mind that we are still washing our hands, we're still social distancing, we're still staying at home until we're told otherwise, and we're still making sure that our services, NHS and beyond, are not overwhelmed. So look, have a good weekend, and I hope to keep you up to speed with anything else that happens soon. Good night.